Yeah, that obviously the first inning's not good, right? And but again, we've talked about those. Those first innings sometimes can be a little rough, and guys get settled in. And I thought guys battled to get back in the game. With Keuchel there to get us within 3-2, and we're back in a ball game, and then just kind of again goes away, and then it becomes an exercise in trying not to blow up your pin in one day, and that didn't go real good. So again, it just puts you in a bind, walking forward. So it's one of those games. I mean, if it happens in a time when you're been playing good, it's one of those kind of games, but it ends up being one of those kind of games in a day that you really are kind of tired of these kind of games.
What are you seeing from Tom or approaches against him, or what are you noticing?
Well, obviously, command has been, I think, the biggest issue. They seem to be, trying to jump the first fastball they get, and then after that, it's, kind of breaking ball in general. So
Leaving too much over the plate, then.
I would say, I think a little bit.
Yeah, and what does this do to you moving forward? I mean, you got to gain the ball with Newman, and how's your pen? I mean, do you have to
Well,
move
probably got a number of guys down. The one move we made, they were going to option TK, and we'll have another guy here and possibly something else also. So we'll see.
would be a pitcher?
Yeah, there's going to be. Again, we've had an array of moves. This game puts us in a pretty good bind, so we're working on what we want to do. We know the one thing we're going to do to get a guy here, and then I think we're talking about another one also.
Yeah, obviously Tom's a kind of veteran in this, talk about how he handled the decision.
Well, it was pretty quiet, honestly, and Tom's a pro, so he handled it. You don't expect him to handle it great and, just be unfazed. But I think obviously you can talk to him, but the one acknowledgement is that this has got to get better. And simple as that.
Is that waivers or just back to the minors?
Option. Minors.
Don, after one of the losses to the Braves this past weekend, you had said you're going to learn more about your team coming up. After these two games, what have you learned more?
It's not necessarily a game you're going to find anything out. I think it's going to be over the course of the year. I'm pretty confident that our guys are going to keep playing. And I think we've got a number of guys in that locker room, and we continue to have conversations about, different things. And I think we got again, still a good core group of guys that want to change this and really that don't want this, and I think that's the main thing is that you get guys that want this culture to be a winning culture, not a culture that says, here we go again, type thing. And I think that's the main thing that we want. I know myself coming here once is a culture that says, that we're going to be a club that, wants to be a winning organization. And I think we got a number of guys in there that want that also. And I think that are intent on making that change, right? And that aren't going to give into this. So I feel good about that. And I think you just find out what you don't think is a part of that, and then what you do think is a part of that. And that's obviously not just me making those choices, but that's anywhere within it, and players themselves, showing that they want to be a part of something that's bigger than this.
You're obviously playing a team that was down and rebuilding, and now obviously at the top. I mean, what do you see on that team, and what can any organization kind of see?
Well, obviously they look good. They're playing. I don't know if they have the best record in baseball or American League, but they look like that type of team. You see them, they they are kind of they come at you in all different ways. They defend pretty well. They run. You know, they got some speed. They got power. They got pitching. They have bullpen. You know what I mean? So you see a team that's well rounded right now. And again, like you said, a couple of years back, 3-4 years ago, they were a club that didn't look like that. But so I don't know what's, exactly everything. I don't know all about their club. We've seen enough of them in spring that knew they had a lot of talented guys, in a club that looks like it was going to be a good club. So.
What did you see from Keuchel today? Obviously, he had a big lead to work with, but at least early on, you kind of got some.
He's just not going to get in. And I think he's a guy that's going to keep the ball down. He's going to keep, he can move the ball both sides of the plate on the righty and the lefty. He changes speeds, so he'll cut the fastball, he'll sink the fastball, he'll throw a few four-seamers, he'll use a couple different breaking balls on you, and then his change up there, but he just doesn't give in. He's going to stay on an edge. He's not throwing balls in the middle of the plate for you to have at. You're going to have to make him really, really throw a strike, get the ball up in the zone. And it's tough to do because he throws low strikes. And he moves the ball both ways. So he puts you in a bind up there at the plate, and that's why he's having success. And so he's a handful.
I'm sorry. More big picture. I mean, Adam and now TKVs are opening, and then you had a couple of your rotation on the DL. What does this do to your DL? To your rotation?
It changes it, right? So we'll have another guy that go in that spot.
Don, there's obviously frustration. It's one of the biggest challenges right now. Just trying to keep a positive feel, making sure that frustration doesn't spill over really onto the field.
No, I think the thing is belief, is making sure we believe, and I think that's where you get in trouble when your club starts to not believe. And I think you want to have a belief in yourself. I know from the coaching standpoint and myself, I know this club's talented enough, and I believe that we're still capable of putting a bunch of wins together and a bunch of games together and becoming a factor. Right now, we're not a factor, but I believe that we have a chance to be. Now, if we believe that or not, I don't know. That's the one thing that you fight with your club, is that you don't want it to be a club that gives in. And it's hard not to. It's hard to come here feeling like everything's going to go your way when nothing's going your way. So the only way to do, again, I talked about it before, is the only way that I know is you go to work and you keep preparing and you keep getting ready to play and doing the things that you have to do to get better. And I think that mindset can't ever change. You can't have a mindset that says we're just going to give into this and woe is me. It just doesn't. It's just not going to work for us. And I think that's where we have to continue to do that. And that's it's what we talked about the other day. This isn't a big new thing. I think it's just a fact that you just don't give in. And I think that's what we're going to fight as a staff, to make sure our players continue to work, continue to fight, continue to get better. And then we have to, as an organization, continue to do what we have to do to put everybody in the best position. If you're not getting the job done, try to find someone that can. And I think you just have to keep getting better. It's what, as Joe said, that's what the club across the field had to do for a few years back. So it's something that we have to do also.